Hi, Rick from DreamSideOut again. I have to make a confession to all my viewers. This is hard to admit, so don't be harsh on me, okay? Well, I actually stayed in a hotel last night. I'm sorry, I know you expect me to be a 100% full-time van dweller, and here I am literally falling off the wagon and staying in a hotel. But let me tell you what I learned about this experience. Well, I'm in a town called Bellingham, Washington. I haven't hung out in Bellingham for a long time, as is true with a lot of towns in Washington where I'm from. There are towns, as I've mentioned before in previous videos, I usually drive through them when I'm on my route to somewhere. Bellingham has been one of those kind of towns. I just usually stop off briefly on the way to Canada or something. I did hang out here a little bit years ago with a significant other at the time, and it's been about 15 years since I've been here. I think I really actually just walked around and hung out here, and boy, it's changed. This town has changed. It's used to be a real earthy hippie town, and now it's, as is true with many towns across the US, it's become a kind of a, I hate to use the term, I don't mean it in a derogatory sense, but a yuppified town, you know. They've taken all the old buildings and spruced them up and then put shops in them, and they sell highly expensive things that you know, only what rich people can afford. And but it's still a nice town. I don't mean that as a put down. It's just something that happens in the evolution of towns. But the real subject here is my confession of staying in a hotel when I'm supposed to be a full-time van dweller. Now, why did I do such a thing? All right, here was the reasoning. I've done this twice, by the way. I'll have to just come clean, put it all out on the table here. I've done it twice so far. My intention is to, you know, have a break, take a real shower instead of the hydrogen peroxide shower that I showed you in previous videos, and just kind of freshen up a bit, kind of get my bearings, and then move on. Well, let me tell you what I'm finding out about doing that. This last stay, I just checked out maybe an hour ago. It was a very nice hotel. As far as hotels go, I would highly recommend it. But I'll tell you, the way I felt about it was I could not wait to get back in my van, because a hotel, I'm realizing, is just an overpriced shower. That's all it is. In fact, when I went into the hotel, it's funny, the minimalism thing is starting to get into me, because I only took the clothes on my back and my backpack with my laptop in it, and that's it. I didn't take a suitcase or anything like that into the hotel room, and I didn't need any of that stuff. I went in there and then while I was in there, I found myself walking around, pacing, twiddling my thumbs, and wanting to get out of the hotel room and go for a walk. You know, isn't that weird? I paid money, you know, a fair amount. I mean, it was a nice hotel. It was a 3.5 star, I think, which is pretty nice. I didn't want to hang out in there. I wanted to be out of it the whole time. I wanted to get out and walk around. And what I started thinking is, boy, I realize how I'm starting to evolve into a true vagabond here. A young woman told me one time, she was parked next to me, and her boyfriend were living full-time in a truck. They said they'd lived in their truck for 2 or 3 years together. together, a couple living in a truck, okay? And she said, she gave me all kinds of tips, you know, on what to do and how to do things. And at the very last thing, I'll never forget what she said, and I think this will stick with me. She said, be careful, once you start down this road, you're probably never going to turn back. And I think she's absolutely right. I mean, I don't know, never is a hard one to quantify, but so this is a, you know, it's an exploration. This whole thing for me is an exploration and an experiment at the same time in freedom, and what freedom actually is and what it means. You can ponder that word if you think about it carefully. I've sort of, these are just my thoughts, my opinions. Of course, this can be a debatable issue, but I have found that there's two words that I'm now starting to separate: freedom and liberty. I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference between the two things, freedom and liberty. You can post your comments if you think I'm full of it. That's fine. Just everybody's going to have their opinion on this, I know, but imagine a fish bowl and the fish in the bowl. You know, the fish can do whatever it wants within that bowl, right? There's a boundary. We can't swim outside the bowl. But if you make a larger bowl, then the fish can do whatever it wants in a larger bowl. And you can expand the bowl into a large fish tank or whatever. There may be consequences. There may be payments for that, you know? I mean, if you have a bigger fish bowl, you're gonna have to put more oxygen in it for the fish and maybe make it a little more interesting in there, and so the fish has more landscape to swim around in. Landscape, does that apply to water? Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is that the fish bowl, in my view, would be, I would equate that to the word liberty. The freedom is what the individual little fish can do in that bowl. He can flap his little fins and swim around in circles and jump out of the water and do whatever he wants. But the constraint is the amount of liberty he has. Now, I'm starting to think that's what this is. What I'm really getting here in the van life is more freedom, but I've expanded my liberty. You know, I'm not constrained by certain things that I was constrained to before. And I'm finding that when I go back into that system, just like I did when I was in a hotel last night, I feel the constraints. I feel them. Just renting a hotel, I feel the same. I feel that constraint again, because now I'm in somebody's place. And of course, you go into a hotel, even a fancy one, there's rules all over the place. Can't do this, can't do that, don't do this, da da da. Don't light candles, don't you burn incense, you know, all kinds of stuff you can't do in there. And because it's somebody else's little fishbowl that you've just signed up to. So anyway, these are some thoughts about freedom versus liberty. Just my thoughts as they form, as I live this life. Going into 3 months into it, I'm already learning a lot about myself. And boy, I'm glad that I checked out of that hotel and I'm in the van again. I can drive around. I parked, this is the irony of it, okay? I parked my van right next to the expensive hotel, and it's parked there for free. I could have stayed there all night in my van for free, and I wouldn't have had to pay any hotel bill. But you see, I don't know, I'm still learning. I'm still finding out about myself, still finding out what my limitations are here. And I'm finding that, I'll tell you, we humans can expand a lot more than we think we can. We can adapt to a whole lot of stuff. And I think that's what we're supposed to do. I don't know, it's just an opinion. Okay, thanks a lot. That's enough philosophy for now. Thanks for watching.